Afternoon and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 455. It is Canadian Wednesday, and hopefully, Dr. Functional will be joining us soon. Hopefully, he's not feeling sick or anything, but it is kind of a dreary day, so I wouldn't blame him if he was feeling kind of bleh today, because it is I guess it's supposed to get a little warmer, but it's definitely October. Definitely October. So we have some very Canadian stories today. So Canadian that I'm surprised Bob and Doug McKenzie have not broken into my home to carry out their antics. So, but before we get into all of those stories, we do have a bit of a breaking story. Morning, Seamus. Welcome. We do have a bit of a breaking story here to talk about before we get into the Canadian stuff. However, I am going to read this story, but I do have to say that this does not seem the way that it is presented. And we'll get into this and you'll know what I'm talking about in a moment. But yeah, this does not seem as though it is a typical for this website. So apparently there has been an incredibly large hack of Twitch. Apparently, the entirety of the Twitch website has been leaked onto 4chan. And I have a hard time believing that this is a 4chan op, because this does not read like normal 4chan stuff. Hey, Elowen! So yeah, this does not seem like a 4chan move. It feels kind of more like 4chan is being blamed for what's going on, or even somebody not involved with 4chan maybe, uploaded this onto 4chan, but we'll read this, because this does not read like your typical 4chan thing. Where are we here? We'll close that. I want to be back over in StreamYard, please. So this is coming from PC Gamer. And so this is a pretty valid source. So we're gonna take a look at this here as soon as I get the screen shared. Okay, so here we go. 12:05 p.m. Custom emojis. Where's the head? There it is. Massive Twitch data breach sees hackers release source code. What is it? Source code, contributor payouts, and unannounced software. So this is by Molly Taylor, posted about 5 hours ago from PC Gamer. So here we go. So this is an update. Streamers are slowly waking up and trickling in online to further confirm that the leaks are real. A report from the BBC has 3 streamers confirming that payout numbers from the leak is accurate, with streamers like Liquid Slicer also collaborating. The incident is now coming to the attention of some of the platform's most high-profile names. The mood seems fairly chill, though, with most streamers goofing on each other's and keeping things lighthearted. Hassan Abi? Yeah, Hassan Abi has acknowledged the leak along with XQC and I don't know how to pronounce that streamer name. So let's see here. This is the main body of the article. That was an update. So this is original story. Twitch's data has apparently been leaked on a significant scale, including source code for the site, an unreleased Steam competitor, and details of contributor payouts. As reported by VGC, an anonymous hacker posted to 4chan earlier this week with a 125 gigabyte torrent link which they claimed contained the entirety of Twitch.tv, with Connect history going back to its early beginnings. Skip through that recommended videos. Their quote, did I miss something? No, I did not. Quote, their community is also a disgusting, toxic cesspool. So to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space, we have completely pwned them, the post reads. I haven't heard the term pwned since like 2012. This is not a 4chan thing. I really think, like Pinkalo and I were talking about this before I went live. This does not smell like a 4chan user posting this on 4chan. This smells like somebody else is using 4chan like this, honestly, and I hate the whole tinfoil hat whatever thing, but this feels like an op to me. This, like, hey, Costin, but this does not feel like a real 4chan leak. Like, especially with the language in the post. Their community is also a disgusting, toxic cesspool, so we're going to pwn them. Who says pwn anymore? That's not a term you use in anymore. That's no. And this whole to foster competition in the video streaming space. We have completely pwned them, the post reads. The hacker claims that the torrent file also includes, and here's a list, mobile, desktop, and console Twitch clients, various proprietary SDKs, and internal AWS services used by Twitch, every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge, an unreleased Steam competitor from Amazon Gaming Studios, Twitch SOC internal red teaming tools, creator payouts from 2019 until now. So this whole, like, this does not feel like, right? It's a, hold on. It's a gay op. Yep. Yep. That I don't know. The last time I heard that was like 2009 on Xbox Live Chat. Yes. Yes. Like I think the last time I used it was in an EVE Online battle in like I said 2012, and even then it was a little old. Like I got laughed at cuz I said pwned. Like this is somebody who is trying to sound like a hacker or a 4chan user and is using lingo that they think is used but is not. This reeks of a gay op. Reeks of it. Reeks of it to high heaven. There's a reason Pinkalo put out on Twitter, is anyone else getting a glowing sensation from this Twitch thing? Because it's true. Usually when you hear it from us mocking our old selves. Yes! This is the first time I've heard it used unironically in the last 12 years. Yeah! This is not a 4chan user. I am willing to bet it. Creator payouts have already begun making the rounds online. Man, PC Gamers just keeps sticking videos in this. Sorry, guys. Okay. As well as small bits of information on Amazon's unreleased Steam competitor dubbed Vapor. Because, Amazon, you can't be any more original than that. Because Steam is a vapor. So instead of... Oh my god. Bishop, happy school shooting season. Oh dear Jesus. But seriously, they... Like, Vapor? That's your name? Vapor? Because, you can't make it any less obvious that you're copying Steam. Positively radioactive glowies. Yes! Yes! It appears to make use of the majority of Twitch features, along with special built-in support for popular games like Fortnite and PUBG, according to Cynic229 on Twitter. There is also a separate game called Vape World. Vape World, assumed to be something along the lines of a VR chat room. So this is all apparently what's on Vapor. Because, Vapor and Steam couldn't possibly tell the difference between the two. This is crazy. The hacker claims that this is just, quote, part 1 of the leak, with presumably more to come in the future. You also may want to change your Twitch password as a precaution. As Cynic says, the file contains encrypted passwords. With anyone currently able to get their hands on the file, it would be best to err on the side of caution. Yeah. So if you're a Twitch user like me, you may want to go change your password. Just saying. The vape world is a meme. Okay. Vape World was a whole big... Oh, from the hipster vapor community. So do you think that's another sign that this is an op? Because that's, That because of that meme, or do you think they're stupid enough to actually make a game out of it? I think they're dumb enough to take a meme and make a game out of it. I really do. But this could also be another sign that this is more of an op than it is a 4chan thing. No, the fact that they're saying that Vapor is the name of the... Wait. Now, the fact that they're saying that Vapor is the name of the Steam alternative, I'm not believing that either. Yeah, Vapor and Vape World. Yeah, this is weird. This is not... First of all, this is not a 4chan thing, and I think this is, like Pinkalo and I were talking about earlier before I went live, this is definitely... It sounds like an entire op to overload the Facebook password thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this has to be in conjunction with the Facebook thing. This is too soon afterwards. This is way too soon after that Facebook debacle not to be a coincidence. Okay. So now we're going to move on to our super duper Canadian news. Now, there's actually some new legislation that I did not know about. And we're going to read about it today. We are going to read about it. The hell is Sporting Quest? And no, I don't have it. Apparently there's a new fighting game coming out called King of Fighters 15. And apparently the sound design is pretty good. Maybe, I don't know. That's according to Rattlehead. He's thinking about pre-ordering it. And then there's, of course, the Evil Dead game when it comes out. I can't wait for that game to come out. It's going to be so fun. Okay. So we're going to read this article here, and I did pre-read this a little bit. So Canadian government's proposed online legislation harms our human rights. So let's take a look here. And this was posted on the CBC yesterday. And this is an opinion piece. Okay. The Canadian government is considering new rules to regulate how social media platforms moderate potentially... Okay, this is very important. New rules to regulate how social media platforms moderate potentially harmful user-generated content. Already, the proposed legislation has been criticized by internet scholars across the political spectrum as some of the worst in the world. Because, we gotta set that bar. Oddly, the proposed legislation reads like a list of the most widely condemned policy ideas globally. Elsewhere, these ideas have been vigorously protested by human rights organizations and struck down as unconstitutional. No doubt, the federal government's proposed legislation prevents a serious threat to human rights in Canada. The government's intentions are noble. The purpose of the legislation is to reduce 5 types of harmful content online. Child sexual exploitation content, Okay, fine. Terrorist content. Okay, fine. Content that incites violence. Okay. Hate speech. And non-consensual sharing of intimate images. Fine. Even though this content is already largely illegal, further reducing its proliferation is a worthy goal. Governments around the world, and particularly in Europe, have introduced legislation to combat these harms. The problem is not the government's intent. The problem is the government's solution. I would agree with that. Serious privacy concerns or issues. The legislation is simple. First, online platforms would be required to proactively monitor all user speech and evaluate its potential for harm. Online communication service providers would need to take, quote, all reasonable measures, including the use of automated systems to identify harmful content and restrict its visibility. Second, any individual would be able to flag content as harmful. The social media platform would then have 24 hours from initial flagging to evaluate whether the content was in fact harmful. Failure to remove harmful content within this period could trigger a stiff penalty up to 3% of the service provider's gross global revenue, or $10 million, whichever is higher. What the fuck? Wow. That's crazy. To Facebook, that would be a penalty of $2.6 billion per post. Does our government just not want any social media platforms to operate within Canada? Like, is that their goal? I'm genuinely curious. Like, genuinely. So it's a money grab by pearl clutching Karen. I think you're reading that wrong, though. This sounds more like a government penalty towards the big tech companies, kind of like what Rand Paul said towards Facebook. Okay, but they're not cracking down on Facebook or the tech companies' use of allowance of that. I don't know. Let's keep reading. Proactive monitoring of users' speech presents serious privacy issues without restrictions on proactive monitoring. National governments would be able to significantly increase their surveillance powers. That I worry about. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects all Canadians from unreasonable searches, but under the proposed legislation, a reasonable suspicion of illegal activity would not be necessary for a service provider acting on the government's behalf to conduct a search. All content posted online would be searched. Potentially harmful content would be stored by the service provider and transferred in secret to the government for criminal prosecution. Yeah, I don't like. I don't like that at all. Like, I understand penalizing the tech companies if they're going to continue to allow things like, grooming and whatever on the platform. But this, I don't know how you could do this without breaching privacy. Under the proposed legislation, many innocent Canadians will be referred for criminal prosecution. Rights Alon Kogan, Trevor Bryan of CBC. That's the photo. So this is, so yeah, that's the opinion on this legislation. I'm gonna have to do a bit more digging into this. It sounds like this person is leaving out the part where the tech companies already have responsibilities, and this is an extra step to reinforce those responsibilities when they don't take them. Yeah, I can see both sides of this coin, right? Because they do need to be held accountable for not taking the responsibilities that they say they're going to take. But at the same time, I can see where this could be misused. But yeah, this opinion piece is a little bit hyperbolic. Okay, next story. I have one science story that we're gonna save for the end. So here is a super Canadian story. Anybody outside of Canada, I almost said. Anyone outside of Canada, when they hear the name Elvis Stojko, they might go, who? But to Canadians, when they hear the name Elvis Stojko, they go, that washed up motherfucker? Elvis Stojko was a very well-known figure skater back in the 90s. He went to the Olympics quite a few times. He was a national, did lots of Canadian competitions. Hey, Sora! I hope that my stream helps your billing go a little bit faster. So yeah, Elvis Stojko, we have a story about him. So like I said, I'm surprised Bob and Doug McKenzie have not broken in here to just randomly woo look go. Fucking stories about Elvis Stojko. Holy shit. Okay. Let's share this stream here. And share the screen. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so Elvis Stojko took out $6.5 million life insurance out on his parents and says he has no idea how it ended up offshore. First of all, why are you taking out $6.5 million of life insurance on your parents? Why is that a thing that is happening? You have to summon Bob and Doug with a with a toque. Elvis was super popular with Eastern European immigrants. Plus, he was the McCain Fries spokesperson. Yes, he was. He certainly was. My mom used to watch him doing she used to love watching the figure skating competitions because my mom actually was a figure skater, a very competitive figure skater. She actually competed internationally and probably would have gone to the Olympics had she not broken both her kneecaps. She was doing a partner skate, and I think it was like a throw that they had to do. Her partner had to throw her and then catch her, and he missed. And she landed on the ice on her knee, both her knees, and basically shattered her kneecaps. And no more figure skating for her. She still can skate, but just not competitively. But yeah, she probably would have made it to the Olympics had that not happened. Keep these records in complete keep keep these records in complete discretion and confidence, Montreal lawyer instructs trust managers. No shit, Sherlock. Okay. Here we go. Damn, that sucks. Yeah. I loved him when I was little. Yeah, I used to sit and watch the figure skating with Mom all the time. Yeah. Okay. Elvis wasn't feeling like a king. The three-time world champion figure skater had seen his hopes for Olympic gold at the 1998 Winter Games dashed by injury. I remember that. 4 years afterwards, he says it left him feeling like a failure. A failure to Canada and rocked with self-doubt. Yeah, that's the problem. I feel really shitty for Olympic athletes because when they get injured or, they can't compete, they do feel like they've let their country down. And it's very sad. It's very sad. And this is how Canadians bond, through icons in the 90s. Yep. Yep. It's totally true. Even the silver even the silver lining of more than $1 million in prize and endorsement money from his many gravity-defying successes on ice provided little cheer. So in the early 2000s, Elvis Stojko packed up, left the money in the hands of a lawyer he trusted, and moved to Mexico to, quote, try to heal, he says. So, wow, he just... Isn't it ironic, don't you think? A little too ironic. Funny thing is, Elowen, my history teacher, before he came to my high school to teach, he taught in Ottawa in the 80s and taught Alanis Morissette. Taught her before, when she was in high school. So that's really funny. I'm like 2 degrees away. I'm a degree away from Alanis Morissette because my history teacher was her history teacher. Yeah. It's really sad because Olympic athletes work so hard, and then they get injured, and yeah. Dealing with all the past issues, failure, and doubt as an athlete, my financial matters were not really at the forefront of my mind. Stojko told CBC News last week. In an email. That's understandable. It turns out the small fortune he left behind, a life insurance policy on his parents potentially worth up to $6.5 million upon their demise, eventually emigrated to the offshoring... emigrated to... The offshoring of Elvis Stojko's assets is revealed in the Pandora Papers. Really? Said to be the biggest ever leak of financial data from tax havens. Obtained by the Washington-based International Consortium of Investigational Journalists and shared with its partner media outlets around the world, including CBC News, the 11.9 million files pull back the curtain on billions of dollars in wealth held in offshore accounts by politicians, celebrities, royals, criminals, and numerous athletes. I'm wondering if this Twitch thing I'm wondering if the Pandora Papers and this Twitch thing are not linked. 6.5 sounds like bumping off money. It kind of does, yeah. But yeah, I really do wonder if this Pandora Papers leak and this Twitch leak are not a coincidence, or are linked together by more than just coincidence. Stoico is one of them, though. There is no suggestion in the leaked records that anything he did was illegal. However, the documents do highlight the ways offshore transactions like the one that took his money to a trust account in the Caribbean can put a premium on secrecy at the expense of scrutiny. Lawyer named in hedge fund scandal. The mastermind behind Stoico's financial planning was a lawyer from Montreal named T.R. Anthony Malcolm, a Scottish heritage enthusiast who wore kilts to family weddings and headed the city's St. Andrew's Society for several years. Malcolm was known as a tax haven specialist. I wonder if this Anthony Malcolm guy is also linked to the Montreal Mafia and their tax haven stuff. He was the kind of lawyer you went to see when you wanted to move money out of the country, said Robert Sullivan, a musician from Laval, Quebec, whose ex-wife worked as Malcolm's secretary for nearly 20 years. So yeah, at the time, Malcolm was in some hot water. His name had appeared in newspaper headlines for his role in a major Canadian investing scandal, the collapse of the $800 million Porteus Alternative Asset Management hedge fund. At the behest of one of Porteus founders, Malcolm had funneled company funds into accounts in the Caribbean before some of it disappeared. Unlike the company's founder, though, he was never accused of any criminal wrongdoing. See, I told you, I knew he was linked to something else. I would be surprised if he was not linked with that. Me too. Me too. Stoico said he met Malcolm long before before any of that in the 1990s, and the lawyer became, quote, like a second father to him. Mr. Malcolm looked after all financial matters since it was a point of pain for me, since it was attached to my skating failure, Stoico emailed in response to questions. Quote, I trusted him with the details, knowing that they were over my head. Yeah, this is why it's always important to at least try to understand the details. Whatever happened to rich people having Swiss bank accounts? Right? Now it's all, send them to the Cayman Islands, send it to the Caribbean, all that craziness. So beneficiaries changed, the next headlining. Some of those details emailed in the Pandora Papers. The leaked files show that in 2007, a year after Stoico retired from skating, Malcolm set up a trust in Belize. Interesting, of course. Named the Quad Trust. Echoing Stoico's signature. Then they changed the life insurance policy on Stoico's parents. Instead of paying out the proceeds to a special fund, fund run by Skate Canada that athletes can use to legally shelter income and protect their amateur status, the policy would pay the money into the Quad Trust. Ah, interesting. I mean, come on, the Cayman Islands offshore holding company has been a meme since The Simpsons did it. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. In its founding documents, the Quad Trust named the Red Cross and Salvation Army as the only entities eligible to receive any of that insurance money or other assets, but shortly after, the charities were overwritten in favor of Stoico, and in the event of his death, two of his friends. Wait, what? His friends? Stoico told CBC he has no idea why this happened and simply left the finance points up to his lawyer. Quote, I was not of a mind at the time to question his recommendations, nor was I involved in any decision regarding the details, he wrote. He also said he has no clue why Malcolm chose Belize, and indeed didn't even know he had until the CBC had brought it to his attention. This is why it's not a good idea to just leave things in the hands of your lawyer. Because, as Dr. House says, everybody lies. Yep. I remember that episode, honey. Let's see here. Yep, I remember that. But yeah, you should never just be like, oh, my lawyer's handling it. Oh, my accountant's handling it. Oh, this. Never do that. Always know a little bit of what is going on. Always. Otherwise, you will get fucked. Quote, while I was vaguely aware of him setting up a trust, I was not aware that it was in Belize, Stoico said. Quote, I am an athlete and an artist, not a financial professional, and honestly, I hate dealing with it. I understand, dude, but this is what happens when you completely rely on stuff. When you completely and totally rely on people for this and don't at least try to educate yourself, this is what happens. So yeah, that's what happened to Elvis Stoico. So that, unfortunately, he was part of the Pandora Papers and their leaking. And here is our last Canadian story before we go to our science-y story for the day.
12:44 p.m. The calendar. 12:45 p.m. 12:47 p.m. February. It's been 4 years and I still don't have a wrench. Disappointed.
It's been 4 years and I still don't have a wrench. Wait, you don't have a wrench? I thought you did.
12:47 p.m. Chat 12:47 p.m. Add moderator. But Kaijus are on this channel. But add moderator.
I thought I made you a mod. The politicians. Wait. The politicians don't want the money mover in prison, so they won't let him fall. Good point, Seamus. Okay, next story. So Jason Kenney, Premier of Alberta, is getting a little weird. I guess because Trudeau and stuff told him to play baller, he wouldn't get any more money. I don't know. But, so this story apparently is about Thanksgiving celebrations in Alberta for the unvaccinated. So we're going to read this this story here. And then we'll go on to our final story of the day, which is a science article.
12:48 p.m. Term February. Oh heck yes. 12:48 p.m.
However,
You may have confiscated it because I was being silly.
you may have confiscated it because I was being silly.
Has the power. Customer.
Oh, yeah, Turk has the power, but remember, Turk, if you abuse the power, I have the ultimate power, and I can revoke the power. So I have ultimate power. We simply cannot afford a repeat scenario. Kenny says no indoor Thanksgiving dinners for unvaccinated Albertans. What? Are family members now supposed to be like, where's your vaccine passport? You can't come in here without a vaccine passport.
W are costed. Benches are evil.
No turkey and potatoes for you.
Has the power. Custody emoji. 12:49 p.m. Sora Luna. Low hey costed. Custody.
No potatoes and turkey and stuffing for you unless you show me your vaccine passport. How the fuck are they going to enforce that? Are they going to have roving bands of Mounties roaming around Alberta? Excuse me, family. May I see everyone's vaccine passport? I need to make sure that everyone here is fully vaccinated that's having dinner. How the fuck are they supposed to do that?
Discord. Now. Gradual example. Hashtag general. Ross Minor. Reply to Sylvia. Start there.
There's a video, but I'm not gonna play it because CTV gets cranky. But we'll read it. So this was published yesterday, and it's a CTV article. Edmonton. The province is reminding Albertans to follow public health restrictions on gathering limits as Thanksgiving is less than a week away. Indoor, quote, indoor gatherings last Thanksgiving sparked the second wave of COVID, with cases and hospitalizations surging after millions of Albertans celebrated in close contact with loved ones, said Premier Jason Kenney. Really?
W are costed. And Sora Luna. 3 exclamation. 12:48
Really?
p.m. Term February. If the turkey didn't have the second shot, can you still eat it?
If the turkey didn't have the second shot, can you still eat it? No, you cannot.
W are costed. A had selected one.
No eating the turkey. If the turkey hasn't had its second shot, it's not invited.
Close and with 6 illustrations. 12:51 p.m. Custom.
This is retarded. We simply cannot afford a repeat. We can simply not afford a repeat scenario. Not with this dangerous Delta variant that is still circulating, and with our hospitals under such severe pressure. How do you plan on enforcing this?
Chat message input. 12:52 p.m. Selected boy. And Sora Luna critic again complained.
This is
51 p.m. Custom.
seriously. How do you plan on enforcing making sure that unvaccinated people are not going to family gatherings?
Chat mess. Custom. 12:52 p.m. W are
What are you going to do?
Send.
Like I said, have the RCMP go around to every house? Are you going to make families self-report, like report on their family members? Are you going to arrest families that allow unvaccinated people into their houses?
Did I misreading anyone? If so, 12:52 p.m. Selected boy. And Sora Luna.
This is
W are costed. Did I misreading anyone? If so, lane. Ellipsis. Some custom.
this is I'm flabbergasted.
Clubhouse. Now. Matt Turner.
I am just flabbergasted by this.
Ellipsis. Text field. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
Dr. Dina Henshaw, Alberta's chief medical officer of health, even asked Albertans who are vaccinated to celebrate outside if they could. Why? If you're vaccinated, you should be fine. That's the point of a vaccine, is it not?
12:53 p.m.
It's also a little thing called October in Canada. You want people to have Thanksgiving dinner outside in October in Canada.
12:50 custom emoji. 12:53 p.m. Turn February. We have 3 weekends that are back-to-back long weekends, and the spread is actually kind of under control.
We have 3 weekends that are back-to-back long weekends, and the spread is actually kind of under control.
It hasn't exploded the way we expected.
It hasn't exploded the way we expected. Yeah, because most people are vaccinated now. And surprisingly, it's working. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that the vaccines are doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Custom emoji. 12:54 p.m. Turn February. It hasn't
Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to have dinner? Thanksgiving dinner. It's not a picnic. It is not a picnic. This is not a... The province announced Tuesday that the limit on outdoor gatherings was being lowered from 200 to 20. That's a big decrease. Indoor gatherings are still not permitted for those who are unvaccinated, said Henshaw. Quote, don't have any indoor gatherings unless you are 100% sure everyone is fully vaccinated, and even then it must be no more than 10 people, 12 and over from 2 households.
12:55 p.m. Turn February, but nothing too bad.
Why?
Like Honda JT is running on hopes and dreams. 12:55 p.m. Turn February. They did close down the national cemeteries though, and there were some pretty strict restrictions. 12:55 p.m. Streamlabs. Super.
Why?
Shameless derby. Like Honda JT is running on hopes and dreams.
Like Honda JT is running on hopes and dreams. Yep.
This is because everyone wants Alberta to be like Florida and Texas hated for no reason.
This is because everyone wants to be everyone wants Alberta to be hated like Florida and Texas hated for no reason.
Callow the driving mate.
And by everyone I literally mean card-carrying liberals. Yep. And it feels like Jason Kenney is being, cause he held forth for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's vaccine passports, mandatory vaccines, and no indoor gatherings for unvaccinated people. I really feel like Trudeau gave him up a phone call and was like, yeah, do you guys want your healthcare transfer to come through? Because if you do, you might want to change your tune. Like, I really feel like that's what happened.
12:56 p.m. The Callow the driving mate. And by everyone custom
I really do. Albertans have been making an effort to increase the vaccination rate, according to Kenney. If millions of people get together like it's a normal Thanksgiving in intimate indoor family gatherings in homes, especially folks who are unvaccinated, we will likely see all the progress that has been made lost overnight, and we could see a significant spike back up in cases, said Kenney.
12:56 p.m. The Callow the custom emojis. But close, but lip. 12:50.
We're never gonna go back to fucking normal, are we?
Send, but
The whole goddamn world could be vaccinated, and we will never go back to normal. This is never going to stop. Henshaw and the Premier cited growing concerns about the situation in hospitals as reasons to not risk spreading COVID-19 to friends and family. Every person's action can potentially lead to a chain of transmission that can cause death, hospitalization, or long COVID, said Henshaw. Your actions have never mattered more, and they will make a difference. Jesus Christ.
February. Well, when do they get a normal Thanksgiving? 12:56.
Well, when do they get a normal Thanksgiving? Never. Never again. Never. No more normal Thanksgivings. No more normal Christmases. Nothing is ever going to be normal again.
12:56 p.m. Custom emojis. But
Nothing. Okay, last story. And it's a science-y one. Oh, and where is it? Where's that link? Here it is. So,
12:57 p.m. Turn custom emojis.
here we go. Let's share the screen here. Okay.
Discord. Auxiliary. Hashtag general. Ross Minor. Reply to graduate example. People make typos.
What the hell was... I just heard it. Hold on. I have to go investigate. I heard a cat make a noise. Hold on. Stupid cats jumping off of things, making me think they're knocking shit over.
Turn February. Don't get me wrong. I'll have masks. They hide my awful teeth and my Streamlabs. Custom emojis.
Okay. So, let's share this screen. Our last story of the show. So, here we go. Here we are. Here's the headline. Where's the headline? Earth is dimming, according to new study looking at how much sunlight the planet reflects. This is CTV News again. So this was published Monday, October 4th. Okay. Sorry, it's being a dick here, trying to get past all these links. Here we go. Okay. Toronto. Earth's bright blue glow is dimming, according to a new study, and it may be due to climate change. Oh, who else saw that coming?
1:01 p.m. Turn February. That's just ponytail. 1:01 p.m.
Who else?
OMG. No joke. I thought there was a cat on your back.
OMG, no joke, I thought there was a cat on your back. That's just ponytail. I know my hair is pretty thick. With warming oceans potentially fueling less cloud cover, the planet is simply reflecting less light back into space. And if the trend continues, it could contribute to the overall warming of the planet. How, if the oceans are warmer...
1:01 p.m. Turn February. That custom emojis. But
Okay, if the sunlight is coming down
close. But 7.
and not being reflected back into space,
1:01 p.m. Custom chat message invite. Chat public.
and the oceans are warming up and heat rises, and if there's more light and heat coming in to evaporate the water, how is there less cloud cover?
1:01 p.m. Turn February. Custom
How does that work? How can more warmth make more water evaporate, into the atmosphere and into clouds, make it less cloud cover.
Show latest messages. 1:03 p.m. Shameless Derby. The time for Americans to annex Ontarians in Albertans is coming. The French are on their own for Quebec. 1:03 p.m.
This is
February, while reflection releases energy. 1:01 p.m.
reflection does release energy, yes, but
One cup of chipset.
so does heat. Heat also releases energy. A new study published in the journal Geophysical Research at the end of August looked at decades of data on something called the Earth shine, the level of light reflected off of Earth that illuminates the dark face of the moon. In order to judge whether there's been a drop in Earth's terrestrial albedo. Okay. Let's get through these related links here. Albedo is a thermodynamic term that measures essentially the whiteness of a surface and thus how much solar energy it can reflect or absorb. A value of 0 means a black so dark it absorbs all incoming energy, while a value of 1 means the surface is a, quote, perfect reflector. So there is a planet that scientists have discovered that is so dark, it's so black,
I have 154 IQ according to a random fake internet test I took.
that
1:04 p.m. The callow, the driving
it absorbs
sunlight is coming in and is keeping the atmosphere at levels that will not allow the cooling effect.
all the energy
Callow, the driving vapor.
from its star.
Air, however, the molecules haven't been cooled enough to turn into clouds.
Because the water vapor still exists in the air, but the
However, the molecules haven't been
molecules haven't been cooled enough to turn into clouds. Okay, that makes more sense.
I have one custom emoji.
I have a 154 IQ, dude, according to a random internet IQ test I took. Well, interesting. For instance, according to the National Snow and Ice Data Center, bare sea ice has a higher albedo than open water, at around 0 versus 0.06, which means that sea ice absorbs less solar energy. Yes. This is why Snowball Earth became a thing. There's a hypothesis that around 1 billion years ago, the Earth was so encased in ice that it became Snowball Earth, and the ice sheets reached almost to the equator. So yeah, that is definitely a thing. In this new study, researchers found that the Earth is now reflecting about half a watt less light per square meter than it was 20 years ago. Okay. According to a press release, the Earth generally reflects around 30% of the sunlight that shines on us. But this is a 0.5% decrease in the Earth's reflectiveness. It may sound small, but it is climatologically significant according to the study. In the mid-1990s, the Big Bear Solar Observatory, BBSO, in Southern California began to take measurements of the Earth's albedo using observations of the moon. The largest chunk of data looked at in this study is from 1998 to 2017. Okay, that's a good chunk of time. The albedo drop was such a surprise to us when we analyzed the last 3 years of data after 17 years of nearly flat albedo, said Philip Good, a researcher at New Jersey Institute of Technology and the lead author of the study, or of the new study, in the release. researchers found that when recent data was added to this legacy data, the dimming trend was clear. And most of the dimming has occurred in the last 3 years of Earth's data. So why is this happening, and what does it mean? Researchers found that there was no correlation between changes in the brightness of the sun itself and changes in Earth's albedo, which means that whatever is dimming the Earth is occurring here at home. Okay? When researchers cross-referenced the data with satellite measurements taken as part of NASA's Clouds and the Earth's Radiant Energy System Ceres project, they noticed that there was a reduction in low-lying clouds over the eastern Pacific Ocean. In recent years, clouds that regularly reflect a lot of sunlight. Interesting. So from orbit, I saw that coming. Huh? Let's see here. The affected area is the same region where a climatic condition called the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, PDO, has led to increases in sea surface temperatures. And while the PDO is a naturally occurring phenomenon, scientists have noted that it has become less predictable due to global warming. If the Earth is dimming, that means it is also absorbing more solar energy than before, something that could have serious implications in the future. That is true. If the more energy that we absorb, the hotter we become, obviously. It's actually quite concerning, Edward Schwieterman, a planetary scientist at the University of California at Riverside, said in the release. Schwieterman was not involved in the new study. He explained that scientists had hoped that as the Earth warmed, it might lead to more clouds and a higher albedo that could help balance the Earth warming. But this shows the opposite. This shows the opposite is true. Yeah. So this is a at first I was a little bit confused about that, but if the water molecules are not cooling and forming clouds, then yeah, that could be a problem, because clouds are definitely more reflective than an open sea surface. So that is definitely a concern. Well, my friends, that brings us to the end of our articles and our incredibly Canadian coffee stream. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and I do thank you all for coming and hanging out with me today. Please, if you are awake, come by Twitch tonight. That's twitch.tv/blind_press, and watch me play Mortal Kombat 11. Also, please consider getting yourself a mug at teespring.com/myeyes. I am trying to get myself a watch, an Apple Watch, to do better fitness stuff. They've added some more fitness workouts, including a lot more core strengthening stuff, which will be great to help my back out. And I do plan on doing fitness content and stuff with those audio workouts, as well as doing demos, and I'll be able to take photos and stuff by using the watch as a remote, so that Pincalo doesn't have to do all the photos. It'll be very helpful. So please consider going and buying one of those mugs to help me fund that. I've got $216 to go. So, and also if we sell 50 mugs, Pincalo is going to make more My Eyes mugs with the eyes that we have here, the sets of eyes that we have here. Also, please go and check out my Linktree. You will find all of the links to all of my content and how to support it there. The Patreon, the OnlyFans, the mugs, everything. It's all on my Linktree. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing Wednesday, and I'll see you on Twitch tonight and back here for the coffee stream on Friday. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.